Hello, everyone, and welcome back to part two of Create Expectations. So, if you have not watched part one, you can go to Zaris' channel, and it's linked below in the description really easily to watch part one first, and then you can come back here and watch part two, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, you can just stay here too. I don't care.
This is the week you don't care. Fine. Uh,
Or do I care? And I'm just feigning nonchalance.
well, if you are, I don't care. Um,
I yeah, I'm super chalant about it.
do, do you want to do viewer questions?
Yeah. Please.
Okay. Um, I don't know if we have time for all of them. We'll try to do all
Hmm.
of them. If not, we'll just do the rest next week. But
Just not taking Yoda's advice. Got it.
yeah,
With the try.
yeah. Um, okay. So the first one is from Terra Talks. For an account that is not yet achieving Conquest Red Crate and is close to Jedi Knight Luke unlock, so it doesn't have Jedi Knight Luke yet, would you prioritize Jedi Master Luke or Jabba first?
Hmm. Oh, that's a tough one. I mean, I feel like Jabba actually has easier requirements just because like yes, Jedi Knight Luke is tough to get for either one, but it's also yeah, like it's full of characters that you're not going to want really. Jedi Master Luke has a lot of characters that you do want, but for Jabba, you also have you don't have all the GT1 and 2 farms that
Mm-hmm.
Luke has. So I don't know. I feel I think in terms of which GL is more important to a newer account, it's just unfortunately, even as much as I love Jedi and Master Luke, I think I like Jabba more, frankly.
Yeah. I'm I'm more curious how both farms look. Like, is Jedi Knight Luke the only thing holding you back from Jedi Master Luke?
Yeah, I mean
Uh,
that's fair
right?
because
Like, as if that's the case, then that's your answer. And um, I know Java is fun in Conquest, but you're gonna be able if you're looking strictly from a conquest angle, you're gonna be able to cheese a lot of feats with Jedi Master Luke.
yeah, like I he's always got special duty of some sort. It's like, all right, you're babysitting this character so we can get this
Right,
feat.
right,
Yeah,
exactly.
I mean,
Um,
on the other hand, Jabba also is he's the king of the no force sensitive characters
hmm
feats.
hmm But you can also get those feats done with not Galactic Legend teams.
You don't say. No, you're right. You're right. But like Jabba also has special assignment. Is all I'm saying. Like
Right.
you can because you can do all the other babysitting feats and cheesing feats with non Galactic Legend teams as well. Like you don't need Jedi Master Luke usually.
No, he just makes it significantly easier.
Yeah, much as like Jabba.
Right. So,
Not
yeah,
to mention. Not to mention Jabba's just so good in the new territory battle. Like he's
yeah,
so essential. Like every
y-
guild needs him.
you need him. Um, but I think it just depends on where everything else sits as well.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
I don't think you could go wrong with either, to be honest.
No,
But
no. I'd lean toward Jabba just because of the long term gains you get from the galactic bounties or whatever
yeah,
smugglers
Smuggler's
run, I
Run.
guess too. Yeah,
Yeah. And then you've got the territory battle use, like you said.
yeah.
So, okay. Austin Tibbets. Do you like the focus switch from combat missions to operations in the new territory battle? I have to admit, I'm a little skeptical that it's more fun.
There's no switch. It's just I'm bitter about. I'm just mad because it's just taking so much more time now. Territory battles, like the
It's
emphasis isn't gone just because they're less. Just because they cost less banners doesn't, or that you get less banners, that
You
they're
get
less
less
impactful.
points.
Yeah, like it doesn't mean that you don't have to do them. I wish, at some point we'll get to the point where like day one we can just skip, kind of. We can just all
Hmm.
deploy, and a few tryhards can go and get all their bit waves and stuff. But I mean, in a way, it makes it worse because the individual, like everyone has to chip in. It's like we need everyone to put their like little pennies worth of points in
Hmm.
for 2 waves. Like we need everyone to contribute. It's not just like a few people go in and get their 4 waves and it's robust enough to get us all, propel us all to the next stage. It's like, all right, guys, we have deployed everything we have, and we're only missing like 90. Like we're at 98%. We need 2% left of this thing. Therefore, we need like 40 people to do their combat missions.
But that's how it was when Lightside Geo was first released. You couldn't just sit there and have 4 people go and do combat missions. Everyone had to go do it was the same thing. Everyone had to go and do combat missions. Everyone had to deploy. It was the same idea.
Sure. Oh yeah. So I guess all I'm saying is, I think that I don't think that it's really been de-emphasized that much. Like it feels like
Mhm.
we're all getting more stars, and I think they did that as a strategy to get people to, actually buy into the new territory battle and actually like, oh hey, we can get some stars. But now, if you want to keep advancing,
Mhm.
everyone has to do both. So
Well, so what I will say is it looks like on paper that they're devalued because the points are worth less. But the thing that this territory battle does that the other ones didn't do is the zones bleed into each other way more than the other ones did, solely because of your deployments going across all of them. So before your ships had to go in this specific zone and your characters could go in these other 2 zones, and you had this divide. Whereas now everything can go everywhere.
true.
Um, it has this crazy effect. So I'll use our own guild as the example. I factored in our GP growth, so what our actual galactic power was at the start of this last territory battle. I factored in every single new platoon that we would be filling for all of the points when I was planning. And then I factored in running the exact same mission success rate that we ran in the last territory battle when I was doing this plan. And we finished with 100 million points surplus because of the way that the combat missions tallied up, and it just overflowed into all of the zones, and it creates this spillover effect that is emphasized way more heavily with the design of this territory battle. So it
Hmm.
looks like they're not worth it, and that, yes, the weight is on operations because you get 10 million points for filling a platoon, and then you get 18 million in phase 4 for filling a like, and it spirals from there. But the combat missions, when you do well, bleed over into the other zones because you're moving your GP around, and it's just this crazy ripple effect through the whole map.
All right, I can bow to your. I mean, you've. I don't know if obsessed is the right way to say it, but I can bow to your. You've spent a lot more time planning on it and stuff, so you're gonna have a more nuanced take on it. So I can respect that. Let me ask you this: do you think it
Mhm.
was a necessary change for them to go from platoons to operations? To just the
Oh,
name?
gosh. I go back and forth between platoons and operations and melding them together into platerations. So
Like
I
I
don't get
guess.
it.
Okay, so you don't. There's not like some functional reason. It's just like, okay,
No.
like there's like a reason for doing this. We're really gonna need the word platoons later for something else.
I'm I'm assuming they did it because before you had platoons and you had squadrons for your fleet platoons. Um, and
Okay,
now that they're mixed together with characters and fleet, they just chose a new word. That's my guess. I actually don't know this. I'm putting
nice.
words in CG's mouth. I think though,
I like that insight. That's a good one.
but I think that everyone just called them platoons anyway, regardless of if it was
They did.
characters or ships. So you could have just kept platoons.
True. Yeah, I don't see the need for it, but I do like the idea that I guess I didn't really even actually, you say that, and I didn't even realize that they were called squadrons. I had no idea that they were called something else than platoons. I thought that it was just ship platoons. Like literally, I would have bet money that that's what it was.
If you went in, it would say like Squadron 1, Squadron 2, or whatever. It doesn't matter. But yeah.
No, I mean that's good insight though. So I'm glad I asked. All right, what's the next viewer question?
Okay. Boba Fett's asking, do you think the current GAC matchup system is creating more rematches than versus the old system? In the old system, I only had one rematch ever. In the new system, I've had three rematches in 1 year and one opponent I just faced for the third time. I am willing to grant that my own experience may not be typical, but logic seems to suggest this is likely the case for most players. If the system is built so the players win around 50% of their matches, then most players' skill ratings are going to stay close to other players around them, thus resulting in more rematches. Thoughts?
Uh, so I mean, my main account is just not a good indicator
Right.
because I just I do get a lot of rematches, but that's because we're all kicking around in the same like little tiny kiddie pool, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's just gonna happen. That's a necessity of it. My alt, I don't think that I've had any rematches
I've
in
had
this new
one.
system.
So,
So here's the thing. In with skill rating the way it is, especially now that
mhm.
they're crunching it, like there are a lot of people. So I don't know for sure, but if we looked at my skill rating on the leaderboards right now, I wouldn't be surprised if I was the only one with my specific skill rating.
Right.
You could actually look it up.
I'm gonna look at it right now.
Here, I'll. Whoa, we're in the game.
We're in the game. Okay, let's go to Kyber 1.
Yeah, and I think I'm number 24 right now.
So there are two of you with the same skill rating.
Okay, yeah. So and it wouldn't like, and there's also like a few numbers vacant in the area, like 4087 and 4086 are just not there, and
Yeah,
then there's a big gap between 85 and 77.
yeah, exactly.
So like there's that. However, could you go to like your ranking?
Yes.
So look at this 34, 37. Everyone's
Yeah.
got 34, 37, 34, 37. And the thing about this, and there's some weird, like people have been saying this, and I think we need to be looking into this, is um, there's like some weird tiebreaker thing that
Mhm.
isn't like player, like it's not something you can do to break the tie, but like there are some people in this 34, 37 grouping
Mhm.
that will never get paired because they will always like if you and I, if my alt say and your alt or your main were both in the same group or in the same skill rating, uh you would always be like, I don't know, maybe you would always be at the bottom and I'd always be toward the top. And
Right.
because there's so many of these, and the weird tiebreakers always had it so that my alt was way more than 8 spaces away from yours, we could never get paired, and you would always get paired around like if you'd be in the same grouping
Yeah.
as other people with your like same level of tiebreaker kind of.
Right. And that's the thing that like we just don't know what that factor is.
No, you know, and a lot of people have like. There's been a lot of speculation, and I haven't really seen any. I haven't really seen anything that I thought was that valid. But on the other hand, I haven't taken a real close look at it.
Mhm.
And there's also some of the people who are posting about it are extremely emotionally charged about it, and it's very difficult for me to read it and not be like, you're just like, if they were more rational, I'd listen to them. I think, you know, but they're just like, ah, man, CG's out to get me, nah, nah, nah. And I'm like, you're not a credible source. Like, I don't want bad things for you, but I also don't want bad things for me in the sense that I have to listen to you anymore.
Right.
So, you know, like it's annoying me kind of. So, like I think there might be some valid discussion to be had there. I just don't know what they're basing any of the weird, like why are you, like for instance, If you happen to have the same skill rating, like a year from now, as
Mhm.
this guy right above you and the person right below you, you guys will be in the exact same position relative to each other. Like you won't happen to be like one rank above K Bucks
Right.
ever. Like you will always be low ranked lower for some arbitrary reason that isn't your fault.
hmm And then it's just dependent on if who wins or loses from here.
Right. Yeah. So yeah. I don't know why it is K Bucks. Why is he higher than you for some reason, and he'll always be higher than you for some weird tiebreaker reason. I don't know.
hmm
But like you'll always get paired if you're in the same group as him. Like you could be in the same group as him.
hmm
Yeah, I don't know. It's just weird. Like people have messaged me. They're like, yeah, I've had the same skill rating as Professor X, my alt,
hmm
for like you know 3 or 4 weeks in a row, but we're always like 9 apart, and we can never get paired.
Yeah, it just doesn't match. Yeah, I don't get it, but um I think you see more of the rematches in cases like yours or into Kyber 1 and especially like higher up through Kyber 1
Yeah.
where that squish is really really being felt. And there's just not like there's no fish in the pool. Like
Right. There's big gaps in the skill rating.
yeah.
Yeah, and so I guess to answer Boma here, in reality, like I don't. How likely is it that you're going to have the same exact skill rating as the same people? Like you can have. I can see that, like if you have the same win loss rating in the same group for a few times, like you could kind of have a couple people in the same group each time
hmm
as you go across, but then after that. Like it's so mathematically unlikely that you're ever gonna get into the same skill rating as some random other person. That-
Right.
And then you might not get paired even if you're in the same group. So to me, it doesn't seem that much more likely. In fact, I got a ton of rematches back in the old system, way more than I
Mhm.
do now. Like there was some people that I killed that I beat like 7 times. It was
Mhm.
like, thank you, I'm farming wins off of you exclusively. This year, it's
Well,
crazy.
this is actually a good point because like just glancing at like the people within 8 of me or so. So I went 2-1 last week, and the other person who went 2-1, I don't see them near me. And
Right.
like
Well,
so theoretically, we should be roughly around the same area.
and that's why every round that you face each other, you're
Mhm.
also getting like you're getting fewer skill rating or skill points every time. Like they iterate, they make it so that in match one of a season you get what 42 or something, and then
Yeah,
the
it's
net
worth more.
yeah, and then the next fight is worth 41, and then the next one is
hmm
40. So it makes it even less likely that you end up in the same group as other people in your.
Right.
Yeah, it happens in Kyber 1 all the time, at least where I'm at, because like you saw, like there's a whole gap, like there's 7 points of skill rating between one player and another, so
hmm
that doesn't necessarily mean anything. But anyways,
Yeah. Okay. Do we have time for two more, or should we save them for next week?
we should save them.
Okay. We will save them.
We're at 18 minutes already.
Okay. Oh boy. Let's do the pack review then.
Okay, we're already in the game.
All
Whoa,
right.
madness.
Cool.
So let's do it.
Um, so we'll look at this one. It's the Omicron bundle. It's back.
It's back, and it's $40 for you, $30 for me.
Yep. And you get half of an Omicron. You get 10.
Hold on, people can't see it.
Oh man, come on.
There we go. They can't see the price now, though. Life is hard. All right, there it is. There it
All right.
is. People can see it all. So you get some Zetas, some Omegas, some
hmm
just an almost
Random.
insulting smattering of relic materials. Like you can't even
Yeah.
buy one relic level with them. It's like, what are you doing?
It is kind of insulting, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like what? Sure, sure, I'll take some. I guess I
Right?
just I'm like, I need 40 of those bronzium wirings every damn time, and you want to just give me 20? Like,
hmm
I mean, that's not the reason you buy them though. It's the Omicrons, and So tell me what your take on it. This is one of the harder ones. Like this is one that you and I could just disagree on
Yeah.
and both be valid in my opinion.
Um, I feel like if you're gonna buy things and you're gonna buy Omicrons, I think this is a good deal.
Okay. Why is that?
So, okay, wait. So how much is the full Omicron one? $100
So yeah, it's $100 for 30 mats.
for 30 mats.
But then
Okay.
you get some Kairos or you get some stuff to kind of fill in the gap. Like it's pretty comparable to this actually.
But that
Because
one
this
would
would be
theoretically, well, I guess that's $100 American, right?
$100, but yeah, and $30 here. So if you wanted to buy an equivalent,
Mhm.
if you bought this pack 3 times, which you can't, but if I guess in the web store you could. So if you buy it 3 times, you spend $90
Hmm.
on the same number of Omicrons as the $100 pack, which but the $100 pack also has some gear that might be worth $10, maybe some crystals. I don't remember.
Right. Okay. But then I'm also thinking about if you spend $10 on the Conquest Pass, which like granted you also get like extra shards of the character and all that kind of stuff for getting the Conquest Pass, but that gets you two extra Omicron mats. So you would have to do that. That's a $50 uh if you're looking at it just from an Omicron perspective,
If the only reason you're getting the Conquest Pass is for Omicrons, then yeah, that's worth money for sure.
right? So I
Which just underscores how crazy good it really is, because you get
right? You
so
get
much stuff.
you get tons, but so I feel like it's I don't know, maybe it's not like good, but it doesn't seem awful.
No, I think this is good. I think and Boma loves to. He's like the C3PO of the community. Um, he likes to be a little bit of a downer in terms of like how does anyone think any spending any money on this game is ever okay, that it's all a ripoff. But and if you're of that opinion, then I can understand why you well like then this pack wouldn't be worth it. If you don't want to spend any money, obviously don't spend money.
Right.
I'd never pressure someone into spending money if they don't want to do it. I will say if you want to spend money, this is one of the more unique things because you can't put a dollar value on this compared to other things. Like there's not really a
Right.
comparable way to translate it because for gear or relic materials you can say all right, this is how many crystals it costs in shipments,
Hmm.
and then you can compare it to how many dollars crystals cost, and you could be like, oh, okay, I'm getting a better deal relatively than than shipments, or a worse deal, whatever. These ones, it's take 'em or leave 'em. Like you can spend money on Omicrons or you don't. And Omicrons are one of the most important things in the game right now, especially if you want to compete in a few different game modes. And so I think I'll end up buying one, maybe two of these actually this time. Well, so one question I have, guys, answer me in the comments if you know. Can you buy two of these and then go buy two in the web store?
Yeah, that's what I'm curious about.
Or is it like, oh, you bought one here, you can only buy one in the web store or
Mhm.
something? But the to me, this is worth it. I think it is. It feels bad, really. Eventually, they'll become more common, but right now, they're the most rare material in the game, and they are incredibly impactful.
Yeah. So I feel like if you are going to spend on them, then you're going to look at
Yeah.
almost every pack you can for them.
Yeah, so far, I like there are some Omicron packs that it's like this is pretty garbage, like the ones that only cost four or something, but you can buy them
Mhm.
with crystals, or that not cost four, you only get four mats. But like there are some packs that I'm like this is pretty awful. But now, yeah, this is fine.
Mhm.
It's about in line with what the other money we spend on this game.
Yeah.
None of it's reasonable necessarily.
That's true. Okay. So that's the pack,
Yeah.
which is in game for, I don't know, another 6-ish days, give or take, if you are gonna buy it.
Yeah, unless you've already bought it, then it's not in the game at all.
Then it's gone. Um, okay. So character review,
Yeah,
which kind of ties into Trench a little bit, maybe, sort of.
a little bit.
All right.
Ooh, let's see how many relics your separatists have. I'm curious.
This many.
I think separatists were the first faction I fully relicked, actually. Not by intent. I just one day noticed. I was like, whoa.
That it happened.
Mm-hmm.
I really want to take Newt to relics, and it will happen eventually, but
I really want your Geobrood Alpha to be 5 so you can take him with Sith Eternal and still get full Datacron-ness.
okay. Maybe that will
Good.
happen.
Narrator. It wouldn't. It didn't.
I really don't know why he's at 4, but whatever.
I have a few of 4 as well, and I feel so dumb. Everyone calls me out on my streams. People are like, "Oh, you have got a Relic 4 advantage over your opponent." I'm like, "Yeah, like Relic 4 is like the no man's land. Like 3, it's like at least you can apply an Omicron or Datacron a little bit."
I know.
But like Relic 4 just gets you like a couple like really minor stats.
I know. I don't know why I did this, and it just lives there now.
You're
It's
good.
fine.
You're good. I have way more Relic 4s on my account than I should too, so yeah, not even I'll judge you for other things, Sarah, not for this, all right?
Okay, fine.
Very good.
Okay, so let's look at Count Dooku because he might go with Trench.
Oh, is he a requirement for Sith Eternal?
Yes. Yes.
And he's a requirement of 7. I think isn't he an 8 for I have him 8 not just because of Lord Vader, I think.
Is he an 8 for Lord Vader?
There's just no way I would have put Relic 8 on him if I didn't have to. So I'm sure it's Lord Vader. I forgot about the overlap though. I would have just assumed he was like Relic like 3 for Sith Eternal or something. But okay, so 7, Lord Tyrannus.
I might have
always wanna
taken
call
him
him.
up. I'm just trying to think now if I took him up when I was farming Lord Vader and then I pivoted.
No,
Anyway,
I
it doesn't
think
matter.
maybe Sith Eternal has him as 7. It doesn't matter. He's probably one of the most onerous characters out there to put high relics on. He's like right there next to Sith or Sidious, Darth Sidious.
Yeah. Okay, but so Separatist Sith leader, whole bunch of fun stuff. Do you ever use his leadership, actually? I don't think I have.
So he's actually a great deterrent. Can you show it?
Yeah.
He's a great deterrent for Wampa, actually, because he hits under protection. And so like the top one is cool and all, but the bottom one is even better. So whenever an enemy falls below 100% health, they inflict tenacity down and healing immunity on themselves. So it's not a thing that they can resist. Yeah, well, and it even says which can't be evaded or resisted. But it's also this thing where it like there's a few different clauses that it's like, well, when your enemy applies a debuff to you, like that doesn't count it because you're applying the debuff to yourself
Right.
here. And so it doesn't always meet that criteria. So but against Wampa this is nice because Dooku goes and he's able to hit Wampa even for just like a tiny amount of damage, and instantly Wampa has tenacity down on himself. Even as his tenacity is through the roof, 1,000,000 tenacity, you could never land a debuff. But Wampa, he does it to himself, and so
Yikes.
and then he's stunnable. Then when Dooku takes his own turn, he can stun Wampa easily, and then you just get the win because Wampa is stun locked.
Man, okay. That is good to know. So don't take Wampa against the Dooku lead team.
I mean, it's not. I mean, but then you can take everything else against Dooku lead teams. So like
Yeah.
I feel like in 3v3 is when it's the most applicable because then, especially I feel like it's in one of those ranges of like you know, if you have like almost I have almost 11 million GP on my main account just because all the new characters, all the new things like the scythe just pushed everyone
Floats
way
it.
down the line. Yeah, I'm
Hmm.
like 100,000 more. Thanks, CG. For a ship that I can't even use because it just gets targeted off the board. Uh, but like there's like this range where you know you have a couple galactic legends, your opponents have a couple galactic legends, but you don't have all hugely robust roster like the 10 millions to 11 millions. And in 3v3 you're still placing 15 teams. He's a good lead candidate because everyone was scrambling to get Wampa, and this could actually trick a few people
Right.
potentially.
Because they might not think about it.
Right, you just have to make sure you take the right people with him as well to take advantage of that, because he's not going to kill Wampa on his own,
Right.
really. So, yeah, it's his lead is actually worthwhile. And it's also something to keep in mind too. Like they also give all the Separatist allies counter chance, which is can be obnoxious if you're trying to. You know, I've seen people do this where they're trying to make their Geonosian team Vader proof.
Hmm.
So, you know, Vader does merciless massacre against Geos, and I don't really know if this would actually do it, but it's just an interesting thought. Is Dooku lead? They're all gonna hit Vader back as he's doing his thing.
Right. Yikes. Okay. Fair. Now we know. Um, so where else would you stick him? I personally usually just use him as like an extra if I need another Sith or
Hmm.
that's actually pretty much usually where I'm using him is if I need another Sith. He just gets to tag along.
All right, so I mean, now that there's all this Lord Failure nonsense, and now we're hearing it all the time since Set 4 is gone for Lord
Hmm.
Vader. Like all of the hate on Sith Eternal has kind of dissipated, a lot of it at least. But initially, when he was released, people thought he was the least because he could be soloed by all the other GLs.
Right.
And I mean, that's not necessarily false. He could be soloed by a few different things, just because of certain inherent weaknesses in his kit. But one of the big things was. People were like, oh yeah, you just take Sith, or you take Supreme Leader Kylo and you get max banners against the biggest, best Sith Eternal squad, and it was right. They were right until you realize that Dooku, if you can take a couple tanks on the team, and Dooku and Sidious are a really good combo.
Hmm.
They provide a healing immunity and buff immunity, or not buff immunity. Maybe they do buff. I forget, but he also does ability block.
Yeah.
Those two things combined, not to mention he does shock. They like Sith Eternal just destroys. Actually, he just wrecks the Supreme Leader Kylo. So he's good protection if you want to run a Dooku team. Like it's not going to protect you against a full Supreme Leader Kylo team, but then you at least cost them some banners, hopefully.
Right. It's good.
Um,
Good point.
yeah. Otherwise, I mean, with Malgus out now, and
Hmm.
you know, Talon is here, and you know, like you can really make a lot of Sith squads, and I found myself really wanting more and more Sith. So he's actually a pretty good addition to a lot of different teams. Yeah, he goes really well with Savage, for instance. Like using Savage lead with Dooku, it's really
Hmm.
nice because then, unless they have an AOE, then they can't really kill Dooku, and he's just going to be stunning them and timing people out, basically.
Right. Yeah, because you've got his stun on his special, right?
Yeah. Well, he has stun on his basic as well if he
Does
counters
he?
or something, doesn't he?
Oh yeah, I didn't realize he could stun on his basic. 50% chance to inflict stun and an ability block.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. It's just a 50% chance. It's not even just if he counters.
That's still pretty good.
Oh yeah, because he usually hits twice a lot of times.
Mhm.
No, it's fine. Especially like you just gotta. I'm always paranoid about fighting Dooku. I'm like, I don't want to hit him because he might just stun me and stop me from what I'm trying to do.
Right, exactly. He's gonna counterattack you and screw you over. But then you have shock and stun on his special, his first special, which can
Well,
actually also hit another enemy. I forgot about this.
right, and I think it does it auto stun someone. Let's see.
It has a 50% chance to shock and stun another random enemy, doubled, so 100% if the target was Galactic Republic. So if you target Galactic Republic, you will also shock and stun a second person.
Okay. I feel like there was more to that. Maybe it's, does he have a unique? I don't remember.
He does. 100% counter chance.
Oh yeah, this doesn't say anything about his stunning chance though. Okay, so maybe I was wrong. But yeah, he does some cool stuff, I guess.
Yeah, and he
Yeah.
might go with Trench.
Well, yeah. So Trench has some interesting things. Like one of the things that I want to explore a little bit at some point is like Trench. Whenever someone causes a debuff, they gain what, like 20% extra offense, something like that, and
Right.
and it's stacking, but it's for 3 turns. It can only happen once per turn. But if Dooku gets attacked 5 times and he counters 5 times, that's 5 different turns. He's stacked 100 offense, and if he does that over the course of 3 different turns of his own, like an extra 300 offense on Dooku is pretty scary, actually.
I was just looking actually at his second special, the one where he stealths everybody. So all non-tank separatist allies gain 15% turn meter and stealth for 2 turns. Um, they're talking about with Trench, if you put him with Django, Django would dispel stealth on himself because you would have the tank tech on him, theoretically. So this wouldn't go on Django. He dispels it, and then he's basically your tank
Sure.
and in damage immunity, and then also gaining turn meter to burn people, I guess.
Yeah, so I mean, Dooku's kind of an interesting one because you can make him kind of fast. Actually, he's fairly quick for an older character and for an elderly gentleman. And he also, though, yeah, he can make his team inaccessible. He's very reliable in that, and so you can, but you also get the little TM boost, and whereas it's not really relatable to a lot of the more modern kits where everyone's just like, I'm so fast, but it. It's something you have to keep in mind. Like if you're trying to, you're like, all right, my Bad Batch, I'm not quite faster than Dooku, but I'm faster than everyone else on the team, barely. Then you have to realize Dooku goes first and gives everyone turn meter. Then your whole Bad Batch goes after their team because they gain turn meter.
Right, exactly. They're going ahead of you now.
Right, and you're probably hitting someone you don't want to hit because he's stealthed everyone.
Right. Which is
So
irritating.
yeah, I wouldn't say he's the best character. He's certainly got a couple little niche uses. Like I get holds with him pretty consistently with Savage now. I really like that duo quite a bit.
Well, yeah, so I guess that's Dooku.
There's Dooku, best duelist ever, I guess.
You guess.
Yeah, mod him with give him more. Folks, give him more tenacity than you think because the second he's dazed, he's worthless.
Right. Good point.
A lot of people load him up with potency, and sometimes I do too. I just give that a thought. He's one of the candidates for it because everything he does is based off of his ability to move around unchecked.
Yeah. And if you can't do that, then you're just kind of screwed.
Yeah. Then screw you. I mean, you're screwed. Right.
Okay. Should we rush the roster?
Yeah, speaking of screw you.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
She's like, I don't like to say mean things.
Yeah, like, okay, we're gonna roast it. It'll be fine. It's just gonna be totally fine.
Didn't you say this one's going to be like a bigger roster?
Yeah, so they are, if I remember correctly, 7.5
Yikes.
million
All right.
GP. They're free to play.
Oh,
Jedi K goes by the name
okay.
C Guitar Jedi on Discord. And yeah, 7.5 million GP.
They're from X Phoenix X. They used to be Phoenixes. They're X Phoenix. Got it.
Correct.
Okay, so they're 7 million and they only have Executor, it looks like.
Right. 6-star.
Not at 7 stars. So not helping their guild on their missions in fleet.
Not yet. Let's see.
In Erodium 1.
In Erodium 1.
Or was it 1? I didn't notice. It was Erodium something.
I think it was. Do you want me to double check?
I don't care. We'll see it someday. Maybe we don't care. Yeah. So no profundity. They're missing. How many are there? There's 10 right now.
There's 10. Yeah. So no profundity.
Oh, so weird. Mine only goes 4 wide. I'm not used to seeing 5 wide. Okay. All right. So, and then the most important of them is not farmed.
6-star.
And you have Garbage Empire. You don't have Lord Vader or Sith Eternal, I can tell.
And Relic 3 on Kenobi.
Or General Kenobi for that, or Jedi Master Kenobi for that matter. Or was he's a requirement for Kenobi.
Yeah, he's a requirement.
Probably Rey, because no one else would put Relic 5 on Holdo. I just like to guess what people have.
And Hux, so Kylo. So Jedi Master Luke, Rey, Kylo.
That's your guess?
Yeah. That's my guess.
All right. Yeah, I don't remember what Mace is a requirement for. Probably Kenobi as well.
I think he's Kenobi.
All right. Yeah. It's a good start. So,
okay.
Let's see what else. So is Negotiator Fleet doesn't have a good Plo. Got it. Even though Plo's really easy to get to gear 11.
Poor Plo. Okay, but looks like Pilotless is farmed.
I feel like I traumatized the whole community by only focusing on the pilot ships, the pilot free ships. Like, if you don't have them farmed, then what good are you?
Oh, Rex looks sad.
Okay, so no General Skywalker team that's worth a damn.
Oh man.
So hey, Echelon is farmed. Woo. Gosh, so like just like a total neglect of
interesting.
Galactic Republic. Look at that Ahsoka. What's that?
Yeah, I know. Grudge 12 Ahsoka. Relic 5 on Kyle Katarn. So I'm curious if he has Starkiller.
Yeah. Well, and Dash is also Relic.
Yeah.
All right. I'll put my money on Starkiller. Sure.
Why Relic 1 on 5s? Says me with the Relic 4.
I mean, you meant
Alpha.
I don't like absolutely hate that. Like, he's a decent tank, and his ship, he doesn't need the crazy high relics that he like. This guy's in Erodium. He's not facing crazy opponents anyways. So,
but why 1? Why not 3?
Sometimes you run out of relic mats, Sarah.
True. Fine. Tint's not farmed either, which is a little bit sad. 6-star.
He does have Inquisition, though.
I know, which is interesting.
He doesn't have good Galactic Legends. Of course he doesn't have Tint farmed.
Okay, so it's interesting, I guess.
It's bad. Let's move on.
Okay. Palpatine at Relic 7. Interesting. Okay.
Do you want Maybe he's going for Sith Eternal.
Maybe he is going for Sith Eternal.
Yeah, just a glance at him. No judgment. Just curious of the context. So he does engage in them some.
There's a decent amount.
Yeah, okay. If you have a good Inquisitors, which I don't know if you do, I would just recommend, and this isn't me actually roasting, I would recommend trying to get a Relic 9 Inquisition one.
Right.
But, I mean, a bunch of 6, like 6 is where the power truly lies in this current set, so that's not a bad, it's not a bad bit of prioritizing, in my opinion.
All right, let's look.
All right, I'm done being nice.
Look at that, Luke, Rey, Kylo.
Nice, and they're all Relic 7, so go put Relic 8 on them before I get sad. Oh, and Starkiller.
And Starkiller. Okay, so definitely a Starkiller. Do we want to look at his Inquisition?
Sure, yeah, because his 501st are pathetic, and we're gonna get sad.
Oh man, I'm gonna get sad.
I'm already sad. That's my secret, Sarah.
Oh,
I'm always sad.
I'm still sad. It
All
looks
right,
it looks like he's going for Grand Inquisitor though.
it's good. Good. That's wise. Go for it.
Yeah.
Obviously, didn't prioritize it at this GP. I'm surprised that you didn't. You're not closer to this, but it looks like at some point you had a come to Jesus meeting with someone, and realized that
That you
this
needed
whole
them.
game, yeah, like you said, it's just that's been the theme from last year.
Mm-hmm.
You need your Inquisition, whether or not they're compelling. Like they're too good of a squad to ignore.
Yeah. And they're fun.
They are until, but not really until you get Grand Inquisitor, in my opinion. Like they could be okay sometimes. Before that,
Still
they're
fun.
understatedly strong. Actually, I got tons
Mhm.
of holds with them in 5v5 before I got Grand Inquisitor, but that doesn't mean that they're like, yeah,
Mhm.
not amazing. So
Okay. I'm not gonna click on 50 first. I'm so tempted, but I'm not gonna do it.
he does have a Relic 5 General Skywalker for some reason.
What do you think we should look at? We know he's got First Order. We know he's got
All right,
Resistance.
he's got a ton of just random extra GP. Why don't we look at his Ewoks and see if he has any?
No,
All right. Well, I don't know. I'm out of ideas. Just
you're
kidding.
not helpful.
Gosh. How's this cartel? Maybe he's
Uh,
working on that.
okay. And then I think we should look at Sith. He's not working on Hunt Cartel.
He is farming them passively, which I commend that at least.
I do, yes, I will give you that because you need to farm them, as
Yeah.
annoying as it is to farm characters. Um, okay, Sith. Because I'm curious if he's going for Sith Eternal. Mm,
Not really. Like you need
doesn't really
Sidious,
look like
Marauder,
it.
Darth Maul. You need all three of those. And you don't get them. He doesn't.
Yeah.
He does have the Savage Omicron at
Yeah.
gear 12.
And Treya.
Sorry.
Are you
Just threw
okay
up a
over
little
there?
bit. Just
Uh,
that's so sad, man.
Palpatine is for C, so like,
Oh, no Malgus.
ooh, did not notice that.
Yeah, because
Interesting.
he has bad Galactic Legends. I guess he has Jedi Master Luke. You could have gotten it.
You could have gotten it. Totally could have gotten it. I guess you wouldn't have used it though.
Let's look at smugglers.
Okay. Uh,
So only what you had to do, the bare minimum.
mhm. To get the unlocks.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, let's move on before I. You have no. Go back. He has the Omicron on Dash, which is a good Omicron, but
Oh,
it
yes.
doesn't do anything without a good Vandor. You have a gear 11. Good for you. Vandor gonna just die. I hope he dies every fight. Um, but then who's he keeping alive? Like, what's your team that goes with this squad? You have to have the only reason you have perpetual prepared is to go with Vandor. Otherwise, you don't need that Omicron. So, get your Vander, get off your ass, get your Vander to Relic 5 so that your Dash can actually have a good team, and then decide what other characters you want to go with them. It doesn't
Hmm.
necessarily have to be smugglers, they can be scoundrels, light side scoundrels so the Vander can revive them, but find your team. Otherwise, that Omicron is just a total stupid waste.
Let's see his scoundrels then. Okay. Lando. What was Lando? Lando was for
No! Oh, no. Oh,
what?
Commander Ahsoka
Oh.
Tano. Oh, cat.
Oh no.
No! I feel like a friend just died. Oh.
And he doesn't have Kenobi.
Oh. That's when she's the most fun.
I know. I'm just trying to like where do you use her? I mean,
he's like the anti Rose player. He's like, I don't actually like Galactic Republic, so I'm not working on them.
oh, Fennec is sad too.
Oh man, I'm so bummed out right now. That's he does have
Oh,
BT1 all the way farmed actually. Go down a little.
does he?
Yeah, right above the young Lando there on the top left. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh boy. Okay.
And your Mando requirements, such a mess. All right,
Ah.
what would you say you do here? You did put an Omicron on Zam for some reason, even though your bounty hunters are total crap.
I'm just sad about Kat. I wish you hadn't pointed that out to me.
I wish I hadn't seen it. She's just like framed by like look, she's framed by
I know.
relic characters. Like she just
I
sticks out.
know.
And then just a little bit like down and to the
Uh,
right, you see a really sad Jingo as well.
Man. I'm curious if he has Maul, if he has Cat.
Yeah, I was just about to say, let's look at his Mandos.
I mean, he has him.
I'm sorry. Indigestion caused by an awful roster. All right. Okay.
I
All
want
right.
to know what's I I mean, you're obviously farming Inquisitors. Are you going for C or are you going for Kenobi?
He's not going for a Galactic Legend. He's going for Inquisitors right now. He doesn't know what he's doing.
Man.
Uh, my advice here, beyond my feigned derision, is yeah, get your Inquisition up. That's fine. That's probably
Hmm.
good.
Yeah.
And then you don't necessarily need more Galactic Legends if you don't want to follow that route. I would spend some time fleshing out some teams. Like you have General Skywalker with
Hmm.
crap behind him. You can't use like Datacrons make him so crazy hard to crack with the extra armor or extra protection or extra crit damage, whatever. Like there's always a stat General Skywalker needs, but you
Hmm.
need their characters to be relic to be able to use them.
That's
I would.
actually that's really good advice. That's what I did last year. I only got one Galactic Legend last year, and I spent the rest of the year filling out teams.
Yeah, I mean, with the addition of relics, man, or with Datacrons and stuff,
Hmm.
and now Rise of the Empire, like everyone, I'm planning a video right now of just showing like the best teams, like the best 5 teams to put to full relic 5 or higher,
Hmm.
just so you could actually get full use of them in today's game environment, because the days of Night Sisters at all gear 9 except for DACA are kind of just like slowly starting to fade.
Yeah.
And CG's ratcheted us in, but yeah, like Cat is so sad. Like, man.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh man.
Yeah, find some squads. I would target something. I don't know. I'm about to release a video about the Maldalorians. Check that one out. And you'll get hyped for Maldalorians. You want to just like stop doing Inquisition probably.
Hmm.
It's a lot of fun. You've seen a little bit of
I
the
have seen a little
footage,
bit.
haven't you? It's
I've seen a little bit of
madness.
it.
It
It's
is
gonna be good.
it is pure
Um,
madness. Yeah.
and this roster could totally take advantage.
You have Maul. You don't
Yep.
have Lord Vader. Like he doesn't have anywhere better to be.
Yep.
So, all right. Shall we call it good?
Yeah, I think we can call it until next week.
Yeah. See you next week.
That's it.